Josh Wood with his speech entitled Effective Interviewing. With Effective Interviewing, please welcome Josh Wood.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I'll be talking about effective interviewing, and my aim is to give you a few tips about how to give a good interview. By the end of my talk, I hope that you have many tricks and tips about how to get that perfect candidate for the job. I'll start by asking, has anyone ever been through an interview, had an interview, been interviewed?
Yes.
Quite a number of you. By the end of tonight, I hope that you've got a few extra tips about how to conduct yourself in an interview so that you're more likely to get the job. Has anyone ever conducted an interview? Quite a few people. Okay. By the end of I also that you can get a couple of extra tips about how to conduct a good interview so that you get the very best person for the job. First of all, I'll talk about traditional interviews. Traditional interviews have historically been a bit more informal, less structured, and they have tended to go in a variety of directions depending on, I guess, how the relationship between the candidate and the interviewer evolves. And one of the problems with traditional interviews has been that they're a little bit susceptible to the unconscious biases that most of us have to a degree. So I'll talk about just two of those biases, although there are very many of these. I'll talk about the halo effect and the similar to me bias. The similar to me bias is a very interesting bias. People tend to rate more highly or favourably those that are similar to themselves in appearance or personality. So if you get someone that comes into an interview and they've got the same colour eyes as you or the same hairstyle, you might not even be conscious of it, but you will tend to think, this person's alright. Rate them a little bit more highly. The same if they've got a very outgoing, talkative personality, and you yourself are a talkative, outgoing person, you think, oh, there's something about this person that's really fantastic. I might give them a job. And it's, you might be conscious of this, or you might be quite unconscious of it, but it tends to affect a lot of people. The other bias that's very interesting is the halo effect. And what this is about is generalising one positive attribute to other attributes. So, for example, if someone's tall or good looking, you might generalise that trait to other traits such as their competence, their confidence, or their kindness, or their ability to present, something like that. And in case you don't believe it, they've done a study and they found that the average salary is $3,000 more for every inch of height that you have.
Oh.
So it's very important.
That's
Well, the rich folks are.
So, wear these boots. Alright, so how can we get around these biases? There are a couple of really good things. One thing that's important before you even interview the person is to analyse the job. It's really important to know what you're looking for in the interview. Know what competencies are important to perform the job well, so you can interview for those things. And there are a couple of different ways to analyse the job. Not quite a few actually, but a couple I'll mention are, one, you can observe someone doing the job and look for key situations they need to deal with. Another is to talk to experts, perhaps managers of the sort of people that you're hiring, and get a sense of what's important and what makes a really good employee. After you've done the job analysis, you create the questions, and there's a mountain of evidence, it's not even that controversial anymore, is that you should have a structured, standardised interview. So that means you should have a set number of questions. You can maybe program those questions a little bit and add to them. You should have set questions that you ask every candidate so that you're fair to all candidates. And if you do like the candidate, you don't subtly leave out a couple of the difficult questions, or, you know, what I've seen in interviewing and recruitment, actually sort of almost help them out a bit. And you're not even aware you're doing it, but you just sort of help the people you like, you want them to do well. So having a structured interview gets around that issue. The other thing you should do is ask about past experience. The reason for this is that if you ask theoretical questions such as, what would you do if there was a fire on your floor? It's easy for someone to say, I would go around to everyone, I'd check the empty rooms, I'd calmly and quietly ask people to stand up and I'd lead them out. But what do people do in a real fire situation? They scream, they run to the door, and they tumble down the stairs. So it's really important to ask people about what they do in a specific situation, or what they have done in a specific situation, so that you've got evidence. And I'll just give an example, one quick example. Say, for example, that you have a customer service role and you've ascertained that empathy is very important. If you ask someone, are you an empathic person? Everyone's going to go, yes, I'm fantastic, I'm very empathic. So you need to ask evidence. You need to ask, what have you done in a situation to understand people's emotions when they're very stressed or something like that. I'll wrap it up by just recapping. The key things you need in an interview are structure and standardisation. You need to analyse the job first of all. You need to ask about past experience, and finally you need to know what you're looking for in the answers. You need to do that before you get the answers. So thank you very much. That should help you in getting the perfect candidates for the role.